Let's speak to Simon Calvert, who's a spokesperson for Be Reasonable. So Be Reasonable, you're against the idea of banning smacking. I know that much, Simon. As Be Reasonable, is that like your full-time thing?
No.
I was going to say, that would be to walk around all day talking about this.
It would be a thing, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Here comes Calvert again with his smacking stories.
I know, I do kind of get that. But no. It's, it's a serious issue. I mean, I like Michael Caine. He was great in the Italian Job, but it doesn't mean he's a great legislator. And I think that this idea that you're going to criminalise, because that's what it would involve, criminalise parents for the kind of mild sort of tap on the back of the hand that most of us experienced as kids. I mean, in fact, I would want to reassure Alan Shearer and Michael Caine, because their letter talks about, children being harmed. Well, thankfully, quite rightly, harming children is already illegal.
Yeah.
And so the change that NSPCC are talking about would take the kind of literally reasonable, ordinary parental interactions and put them in the ambit of the criminal law. When they were talking about this in Wales years ago, when they were against it, back when they were against it, the minister explained that even a parent trying to kind of wrestle an uncooperative toddler into a car seat or something could be guilty of assault if you don't have this reasonable chastisement defence. So that's all we're talking about. It's protecting ordinary, everyday interactions between parents and their kids, the tap on the hand or whatever.
And that's a really good point about the, the car seat, because having put two kids in car seats for, the usual period of time, I mean, that isn't the work of a moment. In fact, you should get an award for just being able to put a car seat together, frankly, let alone stick a kid in it as well. So yes, there are points when they're kicking off and it's all trying to get their hands in there. Somebody could look at that and go, well, that looks a little bit uncomfortable. Ring the police and say, I think there's a man who's using overt force on his own child.
Children are more protected in law than adults, quite rightly.
Yeah.
So that's why you need the reasonable chastisement defence to stop those parents being wrongly accused. And I'll tell you how it works out in practice, because they have changed the law in Wales. And here's some figures for you. A couple of years ago, over the course of a year, 2,800 referrals to social services. Because of the change in the law, 2,800 referrals to social services. 1,000 of those turned into investigations, and 125 of those were referred for prosecution and then into a diversion scheme. And at the last minute, when they were changing the law, the Welsh Government agreed that there'd be a non-prosecution policy. But that's 125 parents a year in Wales that would have been prosecuted. You gross that out for England, that's 2,500 parents a year being prosecuted for that. That doesn't do the kids any good, the family, and those police and social workers are wasting all that time on those families.
And you'd end up with a criminal record, and one that I would, when you read it on paper, looks pretty unsavoury if somebody's doing a check on
You're a child abuser.
You're a child abuser, yeah. And it's, it's reasonable chastisement of your own kid. It is a tricky line, isn't it? In an ideal world, of course, nobody would have to chastise anyone because everybody would listen. But, anyone who's got kids know, and I think this is an official statistic, it certainly is for mine, they are 45% monkey. So, that means that you have challenges along the way. There's a simian component to them. I think there's no doubt about it. Trying to chase them, get them to bed. Most of it, it's fun. You have a giggle with that kind of stuff, whether it's playing football, whether in the garden, whatever it happens to be. But, there are times when kids push it, and there are times when they push it dangerously.
Yeah, and these are kids that you love and kids that you're doing your best for, and the idea that you would be accused of child abuse, that you would be put in that category, I think it does a grave injustice to victims of real child abuse to confuse it with smacking, and it does a grave injustice to good parents to make them out to be abusers when they're not. So the current law is clear, and it needs to stay as it is.
Yeah. What about shouting? And I only mention this because some people would say that shouting can be more terrifying than a smack.
Look, how many people would say, I can't remember, my parents smacked me as a kid, I have no memory of them ever smacking me as a kid, but I do remember that thing that my dad or my mum said to me. Those words live with them. in a way that, you know, a tap on the back of the hand never would.
That's a good point.
And so, I mean, I think that there's all sorts of things that we could learn as parents about how to parent, and I think all sorts of, you know, we definitely want to be kind of growing as people in how to better bring up our kids,
Sure.
and we don't want to leave those kind of marks that words can leave. That's a good discussion. But wasting our time talking about criminalising decent parents for tap on the back of the hand, tap on the back of the legs, I just think it's a terrible distraction.
Well, listen, Simon, great to see you. Thank you for coming with us. Good luck with this campaign and everybody else that's involved in it. Simon Calvert is from the organisation Be Reasonable. Thank you to him.